So, my phone kept on ringing. So, I'm on like a GPS monitor, right?
Nah, I didn't beat y'all 100,000, I'm broke. If I really look out like you want me to look out, it's gone.
So check this out. Victoria Woods straight exploded on Boosie after he started running his mouth about that Glorilla family drama. She didn't just clap back, she torched him, called him a washed, called him a hypocrite, and the whole thing got messy real quick. Let's break down how Boosie caught that verbal beatdown. This chaos all started because Boosie just couldn't keep quiet. And that's nothing new. He's been speaking wild since the early 2000s. But this time, he stepped into somebody else's situation, and Victoria was ready for it. She had that energy locked and loaded, just waiting for a reason to snap.
I don't think about Boosie. I don't care about his fan base. I don't care about none of that. This on Tubi move.
So around February 9th, 2026, Boosie pulled up to the Breakfast Club and started talking about how artists deal with pressure when their families expect them to share all their money. He made it clear at first that he wasn't picking sides, said he was just being real about how people act when money gets involved. He talked about how fans and family think rappers got way more cash than they really do. Then he used himself as an example. He said if he had $1 million and had to spread it between 7 siblings plus his parents, that bag would disappear fast. He broke it down like, if I give everybody 100 racks, that's the whole million, gone. Boosie even doubled down, saying he didn't want to be in anybody's family business. He said that more than once, like he tried to stay neutral. But Victoria, she wasn't trying to hear none of that. In her head, Boosie was basically backing up Glorilla's choice not to look out for the fam. She thought he was giving him a pass, and she does not play about loyalty.
People be thinking we have more money than we have. Every artist who got 50 million ain't got 50 million. Every artist you think got 100 million ain't got 100 million.
Next thing you know, she hops online swinging like they'd had beef forever. She said Boosie was out here justifying why Glorilla ain't sharing the money, and she went in. She said she didn't care about his fan base, didn't care what he got going on. Then hit him where it hurt, saying this man doing Tubi movies now. He fell off. He need to sit down somewhere. Man, Victoria was snapping. She went bar for bar with Boosie on live and did not back down for a second. It was like watching a lyrical showdown. She came in swinging, no hesitation. She even dragged up his old drama with the LGBTQ community and called him a straight-up hypocrite. She said he's been out here pushing songs about violence and drugs, but then tried to play moral police when it came to Lil Nas X. She said this man raps about guns, weed, and chaos, but wants to judge other folks for how they live. She made it personal. Victoria says she never liked Boosie from the start, never supported his music, and didn't respect how he moved. Then told him again to go make more low-budget joints and sit down somewhere because his time passed. But then, oh man, she dropped that one line that broke the internet.
I want to speak on something right quick. I ain't siding with Glorilla, I ain't siding with Glorilla.
She said, I thought we were cool. We got something in common. I thought we were cool. We diabetics, bro. That line went viral. People were reposting it everywhere, laughing like crazy. The diabetic bar became the new meme of the week. It was running across every timeline like wildfire. To Boosie's credit, he kept it cool and even playful. He hopped on X and said, that's my diabetic twin, my bad. Then he told her he was just speaking from life experience, not trying to diss nobody. He even joked about it, calling a skin ball with a laugh, and then moved on without adding more drama.
I said, if I get everybody, I'm gonna be broke, man. Just think if I got $1 million. I got 7 brothers and sisters.
But Victoria, oh, she wasn't finished. She came back again, another clip, more heat. This time, she aimed at everybody. She came for the Breakfast Club, called out Charlemagne, and went right back at Boosie. She said loud and clear that if anyone spoke her name, they better be ready, because she's sending shots back instantly. So that's what people started calling the fight footage between Boosie and Glorilla's sister. But let's be real, no hands were thrown, no pull-ups, no meetups. It was all talk, all online smoke.
I'm not siding with Glow or Blow because that's a family situation. I don't know, I ain't getting no family business.
Victoria was going after anyone she thought was defending Glorilla. But to really understand why she had that much anger in her chest, you gotta rewind back to where it all started, deep in the mud where that tension first grew. Victoria Woods didn't just hop online wilding out for no reason. She said this pain been sitting heavy on her chest for 4 long years. 4 years of watching Glorilla go from sleeping on a mattress with roaches crawling on the walls to strutting down red carpets and catching Grammy nominations. And while the world was cheering for Glorilla's glow up, Victoria said the family was still stuck right where they started. Same struggles, same trenches. No help, no handouts. According to her, they never got pulled up when Glorilla leveled up. She said while the spotlight was shining bright on her sister, the rest of the family was still fighting through the dark. That frustration, it didn't come out of nowhere. It'd been building. Victoria sat down with DJ UTV for her first real interview and laid it all out. She went deep into their roots, talked about growing up in Frazier, Memphis, as one of 10 kids in a crowded house where there was never enough of anything to go around. She painted the picture raw and real. No food some nights, hand-me-down clothes, and everyone hustling just to make it through another day.
You got Boosie raccoon eyes talking about some, I'm not on nobody's side, but I'm just saying you are taking side.
Victoria says something that really hit deep. She said when they were
What y'all
kids,
think about Boosie?
hitting
I don't care about
McDonald's
his
felt like
fan
hitting
base.
the
I don't care
lottery.
about none of that.
That wasn't
This
just
all
dinner.
Tubi move.
It was a whole celebration. Fries and nuggets felt like 5-star dining to them. When she got placed in foster care later on, her foster mom told her, go grab some snacks from the store. Like
Basically, you saying she ain't got no money, so she ain't trying to give us none.
She didn't even
You
know how to
justifying it.
process that kind of food.
I don't give a
Growing up, a simple bag of chips was a blessing. It wasn't just a snack. It was a moment of joy they barely ever got. She even said the food folks got in jail was better than what they had at home. That's how rough it was. Their pops worked hard at the post office, but with 12 mouths to feed, that check barely made it past the bills. Victoria said he was always borrowing from their neighbor, Mr. Raymond, just to keep the lights on. But Mr. Raymond, he wasn't doing favors. He was hustling too. Every $20 her dad borrowed, he had to pay back $40. The man was stuck in a loop, robbing Peter to pay Paul, just trying to keep the family afloat.
Yeah, I already don't like you anyway, Boosie, because you know why? You don't like gays. You don't like gays. Nas X.
But even with all that pain and struggle, Victoria said the siblings stayed tight. They made each other laugh when things got dark, shared what little they had, and held each other down no matter what. She said, we used to crack jokes while our stomachs was touching our spines. That's how they survived, through laughter, loyalty, and love. That bond, that's what built Victoria's whole mindset. In her world, when one of them makes it out the mud, everybody eats. That's the code they live by. So when Glorilla finally blew up in 2022 off FNF Let's Go, Victoria said she was proud.
So, I never liked you.
Genuinely proud. She said she sent a text congratulating her little sister, hoping they celebrate the win together. But the message went green. Glorilla had changed her number and didn't give it to anyone. Victoria says she even went to their mama asking for the new number, but got told, I can't give it to you without her permission. That stung. And according to Victoria, once the money started rolling in, their mama switched up too, started moving different, acting brand new. From that point on, Victoria said the family was cut off from Glorilla's world completely. She said Glorilla never reached out, never said, come to a show, sis. The one concert Victoria did attend, their mama had to sneak her in through the back door like she was some random fan. That's when it hit her. She wasn't part of Glorilla's new life anymore. When Victoria hit TMZ, she didn't hold back. She straight up put a price tag on what she felt the family deserved. She said all she wanted was $2,500 per sibling. Not no mansion, not no Benz, just $2,500 each. That's it.
You talking about Nas X promoting gayness, but you promote guns, weed, and you a hypocrite.
Victoria said if Glorilla had just slid that little bit, she would have kept quiet. No live rants, no interviews, no dragging. She said, at least show us we matter. And she made sure to point out it wasn't just about her. She reminded everyone that Glorilla got 9 other siblings out here, and according to her, ain't none of them getting any kind of help. But then Victoria dropped a bomb that shook the internet. She claimed their mama is still clocking in at FedEx every single day. She said Glorilla never retired her like folks been bragging on online. That one right there, it blew everything wide open. Suddenly, everybody had an opinion. The internet split down the middle.
He's straddling the fence. He just want to be in the in crowd. Nigga, go make some Tubi movies.
Half riding for Glorilla, half saying Victoria had a point. Then Glorilla's people stepped in, and they didn't play messy. They came with receipts. Glorilla didn't match Victoria's loud energy, didn't go live screaming, didn't trade insults online. She moved calculated. She went to Instagram and dropped screenshots straight from their mama. Those texts showed their mama thanking Glorilla for everything she'd done, calling her a blessing, saying how much she appreciated her for looking out for the family. And those texts completely shut down Victoria's version of the story. They made it look like Glorilla had been taking care of home the whole time. But it didn't stop there. Out of nowhere, other siblings started popping up, ready to defend Glorilla and fire back at Victoria. Her brother and sister even jumped on live together, coming at Victoria with full force. They were heated. They said, since when is having a job something to throw in somebody's face? They said Victoria was acting like their mama working at FedEx meant Glorilla wasn't doing anything, and that wasn't true. The siblings came through with the real details. They said Glorilla gave their mama $500,000, $500,000. They said she bought her a whole house, bought their pops a car, and still slides money to family members just to check in and make sure everybody's straight.
Right back.
I'm out, which I don't have a problem with, but just be ready for me to respond. Don't sit here, Charlemagne, with your pickle head.
They painted a totally different picture. A sister who does take care of her people, but only the ones who don't keep stirring the pot. And just when people thought it couldn't get messier, the siblings started dropping their own bombs on Victoria, airing stuff she never thought would see the daylight.
The topic. You supposed to be getting that bill to bear looking at out of jail. Why are you worried about what the Tory talking about? Now
Victoria came for Victoria hard. Her own siblings called her a pathological liar, saying she's got a long history of finessing people, even setting up her own family. They claim she used to bring shady folks around who ended up robbing their family house. They said she burnt every bridge she ever crossed and now wants to play the victim like she didn't like the match herself. Then that 2015 situation got dragged back into the spotlight. Court records resurfaced, and the story was ugly. Victoria allegedly got booked for domestic assault after pulling a strap on Glorilla during an argument at a hotel in Memphis. Glorilla was just 15 years old back then, and Victoria was 19. According to the report, the police found the gun stashed outside where Glorilla told them it was hidden. Victoria caught charges behind that move. That right there is the moment most people point to when explaining why Glorilla stopped rocking with a big sister. Because when your own blood pulls a weapon on you, especially when you're still a kid, something inside breaks. Trust? Gone. That changes the whole dynamic forever. When Victoria sat down for her DJ UTV interview, she denied the gun story completely, said it never happened, flat out. But the rest of Glorilla's siblings still firm, saying it did happen, and that's the main reason the family keeps their distance from it to this day. They also claim Victoria got placed in foster care because of her own behavior, not because the family did her wrong. But Victoria told a totally different story. She said her siblings lied to CPS, saying the abuse claims weren't true, and that ended up getting her sent right back to the house she was trying to escape. She said they outnumbered her, nobody still by her, and because of that, CPS closed the case and shipped her back home against her will. One moment that stood out came from Glorilla's brother, who decided to speak up too.
She do little oohs and ahs for our parents or whatever, but barely nothing because my mama still clocking the clock at FedEx. Oh, she don't want to work. Gloria got y'all believing this fake-ass, imaginary thing where she retired then.
He said he also hasn't talked to Glorilla in 4 years, but he wasn't out here demanding money or clout. He said, I'm the one who first introduced her to music, and added that he never asked for anything in return. He said it was out of love, not expectation. That kind of energy hit different. It showed how far apart he and Victoria really are and how they handle things. And Glorilla, she started sending her message in silence. No messy lives, no interviews, just posts. She began sharing memes about entitlement and reposting job listings from Indeed.com, basically saying, don't beg me, go get it yourself. Without saying a single word directly, she made her stance crystal clear. Her team's whole vibe was simple. Glorilla helps the ones who keep it real and solid, but in their eyes, Victoria hasn't been solid in years. The situation had the entire internet buzzing. Rappers, fans, bloggers, everybody and their mama jumped in. Even big names like Finesse 2 Times and Tory Lanez threw their 2 cents into the mix. The drama had officially gone from a family feud to a full-blown viral storm. What started as a simple family feud between two Memphis sisters exploded into a full-blown circus. Rappers, bloggers, and the entire internet jumped in like it was some kind of pickup game. Everybody picking sides and running their mouths. And funny enough, the loudest voices were the ones who had no business being involved in the first place. One of the first to throw herself into the drama was Finesse 2 Times, another Memphis native signed to Atlantic Records. He reposted Victoria's TMZ clip on his Instagram story and wrote, "Somebody tell Glorilla's sister, STFUC. Yeah, he spelled it out for the world to see. Then he doubled down with a whole video telling Victoria to get up off her behind and go grind. He said, "Every city in America got a truck stop or some kind of hustle. Go get you a bag instead of worrying about somebody else's." He basically told her to stop comparing her future to Glorilla's success and figure out her own lane. But Victoria, she wasn't having none of that. She hopped right back on live and went straight for his neck. She didn't just clap back, she dissected him. She started questioning his whole career, throwing shade like, how you go from being a rapper to a streamer and still expect people to take you serious? That comeback had folks in the comments losing their minds. The back and forth between her and Finesse 2 Times just added more fire to a feud that was already burning out of control. Victoria went all in. She wasn't pulling a single punch. She came for Finesse 2 Times' body, pockets, and even threw shots at his girl who's locked up. She didn't stop there. She even brought up his kid. It felt less like an argument and more like a diss track unfolding live. Victoria was in battle mode and nothing was off limits. She told him straight up, "If you gonna use my name to get views, then cut me a check." She said if people were tuning in because of her, then she deserved a slice of the spotlight too. And the wild part, she was laughing the whole time, grinning, joking, talking her talk like the chaos was a playground. Victoria bragged that she was getting booked off all the drama. She said, "Keep talking, because every time y'all say my name, I get paid." She was treating the feud like a business move while the internet egged it on. But Finesse 2 Times wasn't laughing at all. He jumped on his own live and turned the tension up another notch. He said his problem with Victoria wasn't even about Glorilla, it was principle. He said his issue was that she took family business and blasted it all over the internet, and that's something he couldn't respect from anybody.
And then you got like Glorilla's sister, I'ma say it again. I'm only mad because you speaking on your family.
Finesse 2 Times wasn't done talking. He told Victoria flat out, "Get off your behind and go make something of yourself." He made it clear he wasn't even caping for Glorilla like that. He said he was just speaking on what he knew from his own life. He said the world did him dirty the same way. People aired out his business online and stomped all over his name. That's why, he explained, he keeps his circle tight now. He said all this came from real pain and real lessons learned after getting burned by people he trusted. And just when things were already messy, more rappers jumped in with their opinions. Freddie Gibbs hopped on X, Twitter, and posted, "Man, I love Memphis," treating the whole situation like a comedy show. Then the game slid in too, agreeing with Finesse 2 Times, saying nobody owes family anything just because they share blood. That one comment had the internet in flames. Half of social media was back in the game, and the other half was dragging him for being cold-hearted. The whole debate turned into a digital war zone. But then came the plot twist nobody saw coming. Out of nowhere, Tory Lanez, who's currently locked up for the Megan Thee Stallion case, sent Victoria the exact $2,500 she'd been begging Glorilla to send. Victoria even posted the Apple Pay receipt on her story and publicly thanked him for it. The irony had everybody losing their minds.
At the end of the day, that's your family. Get off your and go make some piece of yourself.
People couldn't stop talking about how wild it was. Victoria had spent weeks tearing Glorilla down for not sending that money, and the one person who finally sent it was a man sitting in prison for shooting one of Glorilla's close collaborators. The internet erupted. Memes, think pieces, reaction videos. It was chaos. And if that wasn't messy enough, somebody went and dug up old footage of Victoria herself getting beat up after what was described as an alleged robbery attempt. The clips started spreading like wildfire, and folks pointed out the karma. because Victoria had once leaked Gorilla's old fight footage trying to embarrass her. Now the shoe was on the other foot. People started clowning her for the hypocrisy, dragging her for trying to humiliate Glorilla when she had her own skeletons caught on camera. Comments were brutal, with folks saying, "You wanted smoke, now you're choking on it." Victoria, though, said it wasn't just online backlash. She claimed things were getting real behind the scenes. She said Gorilla's camp was retaliating heavy. According to her, her Facebook page got reported and deleted, wiping out all the content and income she'd been making from her posts. She said that hurt her bag because she'd been making steady money off her posts. She even claimed the people monitoring her GPS ankle monitor were getting mysterious calls, like someone was trying to set her up legally. Victoria said she was starting to get nervous, feeling like the feud was crossing over from internet drama into real-life consequences. What started as one sister simply venting her frustrations spiraled into a full-blown internet war. Rappers, bloggers, fans, and trolls all jumped in, turning a private family matter into public chaos. The family beef wasn't family anymore. It belonged to the timeline. Every day brought a new clip, a new life, a new round of drama. At this point, the question everyone's asking is, can this even be fixed? After all the interviews, leaked receipts, diss tracks, and random rappers inserting themselves in a business that wasn't theirs, not to mention Tory Lanez dropping that wild $2,500 twist, people are wondering if there's any chance for peace between these two sisters. When Victoria sat down for her DJ UTV interview, the host asked her point blank, what would it take for you and Glorilla to look each other in the eyes and actually hug it out?
And not just on her side, but both sides, because you done some damage back now.
She didn't have
You know
an
what I'm saying?
answer.
What do
Then
you
she
think
finally said,
would need to take place for you and your sister to be able to hug again?
TMZ, there was no reset button left to press. She said once the world got involved, the bond couldn't just be glued back together. In another interview, she doubled down and said, we might as well stop calling ourselves siblings at this point. That hit hard. Hearing someone say that about their own blood, it's heavy. Victoria basically admitted the bridge between them wasn't just burned, it was demolished, and she was the one who struck the match. It was one of those rare moments where she owned up to how deep the damage really went. But even through all that tough talk, there was still a flicker of softness behind her words. For a split second, Victoria dropped her guard. She said she wished it didn't have to go this way, that she wished they could have just sat down, face to face, without the cameras, without the blogs, and just talked it out like sisters. She said she never wanted the internet to be the middleman in their pain. It just happened that way, and now she's stuck living with the noise she helped create. When Victoria got asked if she regretted putting all their family business out for the world to see, she gave an answer that actually sounded like the realest thing she said this whole time. She said, it's half regret, half not. That one line summed up her whole energy. She knows she might have gone too far, but deep down, she also feels like it needed to be said. The DJ UTV host tried to end the interview on a thoughtful note. He told her straight up, you gotta give Glorilla some grace. He reminded her that yeah, 4 years might feel like forever when you're hurting, but in real life, sometimes it takes people a whole decade to get right, to heal, to mature, to finally circle back to their family. He pointed out that Glorilla hasn't forgotten where she came from, because that struggle is the same story she tells in every interview, how they came up with nothing, how they made it out the mud. Those memories are still there. The real question is whether Glorilla's distance is neglect or protection. But Victoria stood firm. She wasn't trying to hear the give her time talk. She said flat out, blood is not thicker than water, and you could tell she meant it. She said family don't get a free pass just because y'all share the same last name. If someone does you dirty, it's still foul, no matter who they are. Victoria also made a point that hit a nerve. She said, everybody keeps telling me to let it go, but how come nobody's telling Glorilla to reach out? And honestly, that question shook some people. It's true, the whole internet spent the week dragging her for going public, but barely anyone flooded Glorilla's comments saying, hey, check on your people. She said, the accountability only goes one way, and she wasn't wrong about that. Victoria might have been messy, but she also forced folks to look at both sides of the story. As of right now, though, there's still no sign of reconciliation between the two sisters. Glorilla's been keeping her head down, focused on her music, her brand, and staying out the drama. Victoria, on the other hand, keeps posting, still vocal, still venting, still holding her ground. And as for Boosie, he made his apology, cleared the air, and went right back to doing Boosie things. The dust might have settled a little, but this story still sits heavy. Two sisters, one family, and a spotlight that turned love into chaos for the whole world to see. Finesse 2 times said his piece and dipped. Tory Lanez is still locked up, and the internet has already moved on to the next beef. But for the Woods family, this ain't just another trending topic. This is real life. These are real siblings who once shared air mattresses, laughed through empty stomachs, and treated a McDonald's meal like it was Christmas morning. One of them made it out and became a millionaire, while the rest are still out here trying to figure life out, piece by piece. Whether Victoria handled it right or wrong, one thing's undeniable. The pain behind all the chaos was real. The struggle was real. The distance between them still real. And that damage might just be permanent. Victoria said it herself at the end of her DJ UTV interview. None of this was planned. She said there was no rule book for how to handle fame, family, and hurt colliding all at once. Destiny and fate are 2 different things, she said, and you could feel every word of it. Right now, the fate of this family looks like it's heading down a road none of them imagined back when they were kids, sleeping on the same floor, laughing through the hunger, dreaming of better days. But maybe, just maybe, it's not too late for a twist in the story. Maybe one day Glorilla and Victoria will sit down, face to face, no cameras, no followers, no noise, and finally talk. Until then, if you've been following this wild ride, make sure you subscribe, like, and share, because this saga has been one for the books.